I just want him to have some sort of passion. It doesn't matter if that will be running or cycling or I don't know, making music or anything, painting. As long as he's got that, that's great. So, I don't want to say that I wasted a lot of my life, but kind of, yeah. Who knows what could happen if I will find that, a little bit sooner, isn't it?
So the next day I took a test and immediately there were 2 lines and I sent the picture of this test to Jacob and he messaged me back to say, don't tell me you have COVID again. So that's the story.
So I was at work and I'm receiving this message, the picture of like test with 2 lines. I'm thinking,
it does look like a COVID test.
Sabi, she's got a COVID again. So that was my answer. Then I received back, no, I'm pregnant, you muppet. So, yeah, and then obviously, very happy and, laughing, but I've cried actually. But my name is Jacob Snochowski. I'm a father, husband, a Sportiva UK athlete. In my normal life, I'm a signaler for Network Sgàil and a running coach. And this year, I'm training for the Skye Trail, where I will try to run as quickly as possible and establish new fastest known time.
Reality is that baby consumes most of your time, so it's very hard to fit it all in. It is possible, but it requires a lot of planning and just accepting the fact that things are not going with the plan.
You have to learn to give up something. You've seen it yourself yesterday in the evening. He suddenly was sick and unwell. And if I would have run planned for last night, I wouldn't do it because I wouldn't dream about, I wouldn't even think about meeting Sabi with Scott when he's sick. Hike in the morning with the dogs and the sun. Hiking is very good for you. It's not only all about running. So, yeah, it's amazing morning, beautiful, spectacular views. Amazing. It just looks so beautiful. Honestly. Spectacular. Can't wait. Some of you are probably wondering why Skye. Skye just has this raw, untamed beauty that is hard to describe. It's wild, rugged, and unpredictable. Everything I love about the mountains and the trails. It's the kind of place that makes you feel small in the best way possible. It's not just a run. Is an adventure. You're out there, exposed to the elements, crossing ridgelines, bogs, remote valleys. It is a proper test of endurance, both physically and mentally. It takes you to the villages abandoned during clearances. The Scottish heritage is still alive. Gaelic is present everywhere. That is so amazing. People are so proud to be Scottish.
Yeah, the Skye Trail is a really varied route. It's mostly runnable apart from about 70 miles of bogs.
Deep bog.
My name's Zoe Scott-Green. I live on Skye. I'm a paramedic and a mum, and I was the first person to run the Isle of Skye fastest known time attempt, and I'm still the women's record holder. So the Skye Trail is an 80-mile route that runs from Ruachunish, which is the most northerly point on Skye, down to Broadford in the south. And the rules of the fastest known time is that you can run any route whichever direction you like. But the most logical for the Skye Trail is to do it north to south, because most of the elevation is in the north of Skye. The Skye Trail is a really varied route, although it's mostly bogs. So if you come here, be prepared to get wet and muddy up to your waist for a lot of the route. But jokes aside, most of the elevation is in the north along the Trottenish Ridge, and it takes in some of the sea cliffs, and there's just amazing views of dolphins, sea eagles. Yeah, it's a stunning route. There's some short road sections, and it takes in the Coolin in the south and some of the villages that were affected by the Highland clearances. There's several sections of the route that have been affected by erosion. Sections of that are the Kerrang up in the north and around the Old Man of Storr. Over the last year or so, there's been some really fantastic work going into protecting the landscape. We have so many tourists on Skye, which is really great and supports the local economy, but it really takes its toll on the natural environment here. And down in the south, the sea cliffs around Sgàil are particularly eroded.
This is getting really sketchy.
And when I ran the route 3 years ago, there were sections where you had to step over nothing because the path had just disappeared. I understand that's still the same.
I feel like someone lied to me.
So hopefully some work will take place soon on that section of the route. That's definitely an area for Jacob to watch. Moving into the night time, you need to kind of stay alert, especially for sections like that, which can be challenging and create safety concerns, especially as there's no signal moving through the Coolin and around the cliffs in Sgàil.
Mostly runnable.
Mostly runnable.
Oh, who doesn't love that pre-race day feeling? It's usually a mix of everything. Excitement, nerves, a bit of that why I'm doing this. There is always that buzzing energy before something big. Mostly I was just itching to get started. I knew it was going to be a long, hard day. There is no guarantee it will go well, and that is what makes it exciting. If it was easy, it wouldn't mean as much, I guess.
Slept pretty well until 4 a.m. Woke up 4 a.m. and then from 4 a.m. I was just, twisting from left to right, but it wasn't bad at all. So Scott is still asleep, obviously. Let's do this. Oh sugar, why it's not here? See you later.
I quite often wonder if it is about being the fastest or it is about the process. And I think it's both. I love pushing for the fastest time because it gives the effort structure. It forces you to dig deep, but the real reward isn't in time itself, I guess. It is in the whole process of getting there. The fight, the struggle, the lessons you learn along the way. That day when the weather was crap, you just got up. You didn't feel right. You had a hard session to do. You were so close to, skip it, move it to another day, but you went out and it turned out to be the most amazing session. The day when you wanted to go for a run with your son, but he didn't want to get into the buggy. Eventually, you begged him and he agreed. The weather wasn't perfect, and then suddenly the sun is there. You're both smiling, you're having great time running through the glen, and all of that. But yeah, I guess setting the record is nice too, isn't it? When the legs feel good, the landscape opens up, and for a few minutes you forget about the pain and just feel completely alive.
Loving the views, and he's having the time of his life. That's what I think. Yeah, he's probably really happy to see us in a minute. So.
Oh, it's just like a boulder field, tussocks, bog, nothing else. And you're just contouring under the star. And oh man, that took me ages. Pace it wisely. And I'll keep feeling like I'm feeling now. I'll definitely hammer it on those runnable sections because I still feel like I can do it. So that's good. So catch up on times.
You eat and... Oh, wait, actually I'll take it for... Cheese!
Oh, cheese! Okay. Bye! See you!
I think it's gonna be a good day and good finish. Yes? Yes!
What's the total mileage? 87. 87, yeah. Big. Oh, good luck. Thank you. Trying not to go too fast, too hard, because it's still a long way to go, isn't it?
which side?
The other side.
It's not flat.
It's striking out.
I'm so bloody comfortable over here. So when you're out there for such a long time on your own, your mind tends to wander a bit. You think a lot, you think about everything and nothing. Sometimes it's pretty deep, sometimes it's very trivial, it's just when is the next checkpoint, or for example, why do my feet hurt so much? You know, simple stuff. A lot of time I think about Scott, about what I want to teach him, not just through words but through actions, and that is a big part of why I do this. Bad thoughts creep in, and it's the usual stuff, like you're not good enough, you're slowing down, this was a mistake, why you are doing this, Sabina and Scott are waiting for you, and you're in the middle of nowhere, it's getting dark, and you know, you could be sitting with them at home, drinking hot chocolate, whatever. But I've learned that thoughts aren't the facts. They're just a noise, basically. It's your brain playing tricks with you. So the key is not letting them control you, and just to remember that you're in control of what is going on. When it will get really, really hard, I'll just remind myself that I'm getting closer to that finish line, and it's there. So do not stop. Woo! Oh, 17:49, 20 seconds.
Good job, man.
Oh, thank you.
No worries.
Oh, you know, I'm too old for this. Honestly. Oh, Sabi sent me a message that exactly 6 years ago I set a course record at Hardmoor's 110 miles. It was 110 miles, more up, about 1,000 meters more, so 3,000 feet. And I did it in 1945, so a bit slower, but it was way more difficult underfoot here. Horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, extremely beautiful run, but tough. Thank you.
Oh.
Seeing Sabs and Scott at the checkpoints, having them there makes it all mean more, and being able to sell that passion to my son from his very early age, that's even more important, you know, to let him see that I love something and he can love something outside normal life, that he can have a passion and he can achieve